Hello and welcome again to another day of classes. Today we're going to be continuing with the Interchange 5th edition level 3, the Green Book, and today we're going to finish the unit 11. In the previous class we were talking about, the rites of passages and we were discussing life events and milestones if you remember. We also talked about time clauses. And today we're going to be describing regrets and hypothetical situations. So let's jump right in. To start with this, we're gonna have a word power, personal characteristics. At what age do you think these people possess these traits? Check one or more ages for each trait. Well, basically, this is an opinion type of activity where you say, like, for example, being ambitious. At what age do you think people start being ambitious? Maybe when they are in their 20s and 30s, but when you're a teen, you don't care about that, about anything actually. And when you are in the 40s and 60s, being ambitious is not so common. Argumentative. Well, when you're in your teens and your 60s, that's something that always happen. Carefree. Carefree is more something like in their teens and their 20s. When you get to their 30s, you're starting to think about life and your future, so you will not be carefree. Dependable, that's usually when you're in teens and when you're in your 20s because you might still live with your parents and you need to be dependent on other people. Naive. Naive can be, actually in any year. That's something that it's a way of being like this, but it's usually referred for people when they are not so old. Pragmatic, I think that's more something for the 40s and 60s that, looking for the most logical solutions to things. When you're in your older ages, you already have much experience, so you can do it. Rebellious, that's for teens and 20s. That's the most common thing to be in these ages. Sophisticated can start from 40s and 60. You're always looking out for your personal appearance and stuff. And wise can be in any of this, but difference is that when you're in your 60s, because all of the time that you have been in this world, you're gonna be wise, most likely, because you already have a lot of experiences to talk about. And it's less common with teens because they haven't lived as much. But okay, well, what do you think about this? You can comment them down below. Okay, let's continue. Now we're gonna have a perspectives. Interesting. That was a mistake. Listen to two recent college graduates talk about their regrets. Do you have any similar regrets? That's really interesting. Okay, so let's listen and then we're gonna talk about it, okay? Okay, let's listen.
Page 75. Exercise 7. Perspectives. That was a mistake. Part A. Listen to two recent college graduates talk about their regrets. Do you have any similar regrets? 1,
I should have done an internship while I was in college.
2,
If I'd been more ambitious in college, I could have learned to speak another language.
3,
If I hadn't been so irresponsible, I could have gotten better grades.
4,
I shouldn't have taken out a student loan to pay for college.
5,
If I'd listened to my professors, I would have taken some additional courses.
6,
If I hadn't wasted so much money last year, I would have saved enough to start graduate school.
Okay, really interesting. I think we can get like really valuable information out of these regrets that this girl and this boy had with college things. Have you ever had things that you regret from like, school and or college if you already finished it? What are those? You can comment them down below. But something about this is that we're gonna be seeing how to talk in this way, how to express, regrets and hypothetical situations. That's a grammar for today. And these are some examples of how to do it. But to better understand this, let's go straight into the grammar focus. Expressing regret and describing hypothetical situation. We have use should plus have plus the past. Blah, blah, blah. As always, this is not so easy to understand right away, or maybe you need a little bit of help to understand it. So as always, I have a material for you. Okay? To talk about regrets or speculate about things that happened or didn't happen. Okay, so let's start with the beginning. Basically, if you want to talk about something that you wish you hadn't done in the past, but there's no way to change it, then you're talking about a regret. And hypothetical situations are talking about things that are not possible, but you're imagining how would it be if it happened. Okay? And the way to use this, the simple way to use this is the subject, the person that you're talking about or the thing that you're talking about, should have or shouldn't have, if it's positive or negative, a verb in past participle, and then the complement. For example, the situation is that I didn't work hard. So I, the subject, should have or should, this is the contracted way, this is a short form. I should have worked hard. This is the verb in past participle. And that's basically it. That is your regret. Because I didn't work hard, I should have worked hard. She lost lots of time. She shouldn't have lost time. Okay? I didn't go to the party. I should have gone to the party. Okay? I spent all my money. I shouldn't have spent all my money. In all of this, we're using the verbs in past participle, okay? You see, it's really easy. It's just to follow this structure. You can change it to other people, like he should have worked hard because he didn't and now he's fired. Or my dog should have listened to me when I called him and now he's not having a good time, for example. You can use it in any way that you want. And we also have this. What's the difference with should have, could have, and would have? Okay? So should have. A different action was recommended in the past. Okay? We use should have when something in the past could be different, like it was recommended to do another thing, but it didn't happen. For example, you were supposed to work hard, but you didn't do it. So you should have worked hard. Okay? So a different action was recommended in the past. Some examples. I shouldn't have yelled at you yesterday. I'm sorry, because the recommended thing is to never yell at people. You should have studied, or you shouldn't have played video games all the weekend. Now you haven't gotten any good grades on your tests. Then we have could have. Possibilities if something had been different in the past. So basically when you are using could have, it's things that could have happened. Things that it was possible to happen in a different situation in the past. Okay? If I had gone to college, I could have gotten a better job. Okay? This is not real. This never happened. I never went to college. But if I had gone to college, I could have gotten a better job. This would have happened if I had done this, basically. She could have won a gold medal if she hadn't fallen 3 times. Okay? So, possibilities of a past that is not real. And then we have would have. Imagine a result if something had been different. Okay? This is the outcome, the end, the result of the things if they would have been different, if they were different in the past. If we had arrived earlier, we would have caught our flight. We didn't. But if we had arrived earlier, we would have caught our flight, basically. If I had brought my umbrella, I wouldn't have gotten wet in the rain. Okay? So, if this thing didn't happen in the past, I would have done this thing, this other thing. This is basically how you use would have and could have and should have. Okay? I hope it's easy for you to understand it. I know because you're really intelligent. And now let's tie it together with the grammar focus. Okay? So we have use should have plus the past participle to express regret. What we said, I should have done an internship while I was in college. I shouldn't have taken out a student loan. Then you can use would have plus the past participle to express probable outcomes in hypothetical situations. What we saw, and use could have plus the past participle to express possible outcomes. Basically the same thing that we saw. If I'd listened to my professors, I would have taken additional courses. If I hadn't been so irresponsible, I could have gotten better grades. Okay? Very good. I hope they understand this grammar. And if not, you can ask some questions down below. I will be pleased to answer them. But if you did understand this, let's do this exercise right here. Okay? You're gonna match the clauses in column A with the appropriate information in column B. Okay? So you're gonna match each one. Okay? Take your time to complete this, and then we're gonna check. Okay, you finished? Let's check. Well, number one. If I hadn't gone to so many parties, it's letter C, I would have done better in school. Number two, if I'd been more careful, letter D, I wouldn't have lost all my documents. Okay? Number three, if I'd been wiser, letter E, I wouldn't have argued with my boss. Number four, if I'd listened to my financial advisor, B, I wouldn't have borrowed money for a new car. And the last one, the easiest one, if I hadn't been so rebellious, letter A, I would have been nicer to my parents. If you have these answers, very good. You are correct. Okay, let's continue now to a pronunciation part. It's going to be really interesting with the pronunciation of the reduction of have and been. Because maybe you listen to me like saying it fast and it's not so easy when you try to pronounce it, but now it's gonna be easier. Just pay attention to this. You're gonna notice how have and been are reduced in these sentences. And then we're gonna practice, okay? Okay, so let's listen.
Page 76. Exercise 10. Pronunciation. Reduction of have and been. Part A. Listen and practice. Notice how have and been are reduced in these sentences.
I should have been less selfish when I was younger.
If I'd been more ambitious, I could have gotten a promotion.
Okay, very good. So for you to make this easier for you to understand on how to basically pronounce this, it's like when you're mentioning reducting the have, you just need to take this H out. And if you want to pronounce the reduction of being, it's just like you erase these two E's and you write a letter I instead of that one. Okay? So it will be should have, should have, been, should have been. Okay? That's the way to reduce it in the simple way. Instead of have and been, you say have or been. I should have been. Okay? I hope it's easier to understand that. Now let me erase that marvelous drawings of mine. Okay. I should have been less selfish when I was younger. If I'd been, not been, but been. Been. If I'd been more ambitious, I could have, not have. I could have gotten a promotion. Now practice. I should have been less selfish when I was younger. If I'd been more ambitious, I could have gotten a promotion. Okay, I hope that you understand this and you can practice as much as you can, okay? It's really interesting and it's really fun to practice these reductions of words because it makes you sound more fluid and natural with the language. Okay, so it's better to practice it a lot. Okay, now let's go to this listening right here. You're gonna be listening to a conversation between three friends about regrets. You're gonna write two regrets that each person has. And then you're gonna answer the question, which friend feels differently about regrets, and how does he or she feels? Okay? So take your time to listen, and then we're gonna check those answers, okay? Okay, so let's listen.
Page 76. Exercise 11. Listening. My biggest regret. Part A. Listen to a conversation between three friends about regrets. Write 2 regrets that each person has.
Hey, Ariana. You should come to the movies with Kira and me on Saturday.
Yeah, come with us, Ariana. It'll be fun.
I wish I could, but I have to write a paper for that writing course I'm taking.
What's it about?
My biggest regret in life. I mean, that's a big question. I have regrets, but just one?
Well, what are they?
I've always said I should have spent more time with my grandma while she was alive. And I shouldn't have waited so long to start learning Arabic. If I talked more with my extended family, I could have learned it ages ago. I guess I have lots of regrets. What about you guys?
I think my biggest regret is from when I was a kid. There was this really mean bully at school. I mean, every day he would tease me because of my glasses or my grades or something I was wearing. There was always a reason, and I never defended myself. I just let him say what he wanted and make me feel terrible. And I regret that. I should have talked to him. I should have been more confident.
Don't be so hard on yourself, Ray. You were a kid. And what's important is that you learn from that situation, and you won't let people bully you again.
True. So, do you have regrets, Kira?
Well, I didn't take many difficult classes in high school. I should have been more ambitious. And I didn't do any activities after school. I could have done more volunteer work and helped people more in my spare time. But honestly, I don't believe in regrets. I've learned lessons from my mistakes and have become a better person. No regrets, just lessons learned.
You know what, Kira? I like that idea for my paper. No regrets, just lessons learned.
Perfect. Now go work on your paper so you can go to the movies with us.
Okay, very good. This was really interesting about the regrets. I hope that you also think like, Kira thinks about the regrets. But did you get the answers for this? Remember that if not, you can go back in the video and listen one more time to get the answers. But if you did, let's check those answers, okay? Okay, so the regret of Ariana, one of them, is that she should have spent more time with her grandma, and that she shouldn't have waited so long to start learning Arabic. The regret from Ray is that he should have talked to the bully, and he should have been more confident. And also, the last one, the regrets of Kira, she should have been more ambitious in high school, and she should have done more volunteer work and helped people more in her spare time. Okay, but did you also get the answer for this? Let's see. The answer is that Kira says that there are no regrets in life, just lessons learned. She has learned lessons from her mistakes and become a better person. And this is true. This is something that happens to all of us. We learn from our mistakes, and they are necessary for us to be better people. Okay? But very good. I'm not gonna get so much into this. This is an English class. So let's continue to the last the last activity for today, that it's gonna be a reading. Stella's answers. Interesting. This is like a blog post. Okay, take your time to read this story right here. Stella's answer. Okay, I'll put it like this. Yeah. Take your time to read this. And then, after you have read this, complete these 2 exercises and we're gonna check your answers, okay? Okay, so take your time. And if you finished, let's check. First of all, find the words in italics in the text, and then match the definitions to the words, okay? If your answers are that short fuse is letter B, quick or violent temper, sabotage is letter D, act of destroying something to get an advantage, number 3, heartfelt is very sincere, letter E, blackmail, it's letter A, act of demanding something from someone in exchange for a benefit, And then forgive is letter C, decide to not be angry at someone, then you are very, very correct. Oh my god, that was a really long sentence. But okay, let's do now the last exercise. You're gonna check true, false, or not given for each one of these statements, okay? Okay, so the two boys are best friends from childhood. That is not given. Paul mistakenly deleted some of Carl's work. That's true. Number three, Carl reacted very calmly at the time. That is false. Stella thinks Paul could have improved the situation at the time. That is true. Okay? Stella believes that both friends need to apologize. That is not given. Stella thinks even an insincere apology is helpful. That is false. Carl's behavior shows that he is not very forgiving. That is true. And the last one, Stella says that Paul and Carl's friendship is over. That is not given also. Okay, if you have these answers, very good. You are correct. Well, that's been everything for this video. I hope that you liked it, and I hope that you look forward for the next one. Okay, well, see you in the next time. Bye.